Good evening, good morning. Free Friday is here. I made it. We left New Orleans Wednesday night and at 9:30, and we drove all night, and we had a blowout at 6 in the morning. I drove all night and I had a blowout at 6 in the morning. And it was dangerous. It was like a huge blowout. And we were on the road all night on the side of the road, all morning on the side of the road. And then we got back. We got the van fixed. The fuel line broke or something. It was the coolant line broke, and the van almost overheated. And we got it fixed. And then we went to the hotel. We slept for 1 hour. We went to sound check, did the gig. Came back, and now I'm making Free Friday. Got to get up in the morning, drive hours and hours and hours. So what are we going to talk about here? I want to talk about this post I saw on Facebook. I talked about this a lot more on Patreon. Patreon got the live video from the side of the road. But here's what I want to talk about. Hard work. I saw this post on Facebook. This guy said, hey, listen, he said, how come I can't get a job as a harmonica player? I'm really good. Look, I'll tell you about how I got this job, all right? Not this YouTube thing. I do this. You guys ask why, there's another one, right? I got an email from a guy the other day. He said, hey, Google they cracked down on the ad blockers, those little annoying ads at the beginning. He goes, some people had this illegal ad blocker thing, and he goes, they cracked down on that, and now I have to watch the ads or I have to pay a stupid price. And he goes, I just want to say I enjoy your videos, but I won't be watching them anymore. And I wrote back and I said, hey man, I said, listen, you wouldn't believe what I had to go through to get help with learning how to play music and harmonica. And you guys wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe the hours and hours that I drove just to be turned away by somebody at the end of the night. And really, that was the lesson. That was the lesson. I lost a friend last year named Stevie Linworth. We recorded a Skype. We never put it up. I lost it on my computer. Maybe I can find it one day. He died of cancer. We grew up playing music together. Stevie was one of the best. If you know who Nick Curran is, that was who Nick Curran looked up to in Maine. Okay, Stevie was great. Ended up playing gypsy jazz. He died. Stevie one time went to Boston, and Stevie, forgive me if I get this story wrong. I know you're listening. Maybe I'll get a little intentionally wrong, but here's how it goes. He wanted to take a guitar lesson from Ronnie Earl, so he drives all the way from Maine to Boston. It's a couple hours. He gets there, and Ronnie lives in a building where you need to ring the doorbell. Ronnie Earl was the greatest blues player alive at that time, And he was a big thing in New England, That music was incredible. You could do anything to that music. You could make love to it. You could get high to it. You could get sober to it. It was the best music. Those 3 instrumental albums that Ronnie made, unbelievable. So Steve went up there to take lessons with him. He rang the doorbell, and Ronnie said, I'll be right down, because that's how he talks. Stevie's thinking, what do you mean you'll be right down? Like, you're going to open the door and let me up? Maybe that was it, right? So Ronnie comes down, and he goes, is that your car? And they go and they get in Steve's car and they drive to Tower Records. They get to Tower Records, and Ronnie goes through the blues section. He goes up to Albert King, all the Albert King records. He's like, you got this one, you got this one. Stevie's like, no. He picks that one out. He picks out all the Freddie King, all the B.B. King, all the T-Bone Walker, the Lowell Folsom, the Magic Sam, right? All that stuff, the Muddy Waters, the Jimmy Rogers, the stuff with Luther Tucker on it, all that stuff, man. All those guys, Robert Lockwood. Did I say Robert Lockwood? Anyway, he goes up to the register, and And then Stevie rings it up with his mother's credit card. It was like $400 for all these CDs. So they buy the CDs, and Ronnie has him driving back to his house. They get back to the house. Steve thinks they're going upstairs to have a guitar lesson. And Ronnie gets out of the car and closes the door. And he leans in and he says, that'll be $100. And Stevie says, well, what about the guitar lesson? He goes, that was it. He says, come to Boston, take lessons with Ronnie Earl unless you know who those guys are. All right. So if you want to log out of this, out of this free thing that I'm giving you, you want to, I'm up here at 2 a.m, whatever it is, or in the middle of the night after having a blowout, after driving, after having not been to sleep since Tuesday night, right? And you want to log out of this because you got to watch a 3-minute ad. Maybe this thing isn't for you. If I had given up that easy, I wouldn't be here. Now, where is here? Let's talk about that, right? How long did it take? Well, let me tell you what, I've been more successful in my life than I am right now at this. And so, a little dip. But I don't judge my success as a person with how well this career is going, or how well YouTube is going. Doesn't mean I don't look at it. Doesn't mean that I'm not ambitious. I am. But I learned a long time ago that, when you get what you want, you're not always happy with it. So this man wrote on Facebook, he said, I want to be a professional harmonica player, but nobody will hire me. So here's the thing, guys. It took years. I've won every award in the book. I'm not bragging. It's just true. I've been out there for 20 years playing in little tiny bars, sleeping in the back of vans, sleeping on the floors of vans. All right. Sleeping on pool tables, in and out of addiction, in and out of jail, right? Not everybody goes through that, but I made it harder on myself, up and down, driving, 33 hours to play one show, pawning equipment, no money to get to the next show, right? Overnight drive, and then overnight drive, and then overnight drive, 3, 4 in a row. Did that for years and years and years before it looked like what it looks like now. And you know what? It still looks a lot like that. But look, that's the thing, right? We do it because we love it. We don't do it to get something. And when you're doing it because you love it, the funny thing is that's when you get stuff. I got this sign on my wall. It says, the more I practice, the luckier I get. I got 2 signs on the wall. That one, I got another one. It says 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes of practice a day, of hard, focused practice. So that's the subject of this thing is that, look, part of this is suffering. Part of this is that we accept that not everything is going to be perfect or the way that we want it. And sometimes that's the best stuff. The best stuff comes out of things not being perfect and us going through that. Today, like this video right here, you might have come here for a harmonica video with some tab. I put the tab there and you learned the tab. Nobody tabbed anything for me. I had to hear all that and play all that. And that led to more hours of practice, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with tab. I put it here because I love you guys and I want to give you something. But I can't always feed you cake and ice cream. Sometimes we got to get meat and potatoes. And that's what I'm here to do to tell you today. Is some of the stuff that I teach is meat and potatoes. That's why I don't have 1 million subscribers. I got 30,000 real subscribers, right? That's what it is. I'm not saying the other people aren't, but a lot of them people that get, channels that have 1 million subscribers, they got people that are into it for a week. They forget to subscribe. They get some guy who's going to sugarcoat everything and tell them everything's just easy and nice. It's not. It's hard. This is hard work. And that's why it's good. Every single thing in this world is a relationship. You have a relationship with your wife. You have a relationship with your husband. You have a relationship with your parents. You have a relationship with your instrument. You have a relationship with music. You have a relationship with your career. You may have a relationship with God. Now, if you have a relationship, you go through ups and downs. And the thing is, you try to remain as stoic as possible. Sometimes you get carried away. That's okay. You get too carried away with the ups. You get too carried away with the downs. Believe me, I can understand, okay? But here's what we don't do. We don't give up on the relationship. Sometimes we feel like it. You think I felt like making a free Friday tonight? I didn't feel like that. But right now, in this moment with y'all, whether you believe it or not, there's no other place in the world I'd rather be. You got to suit up and show up. Even if this is just a hobby to you, this is what we do. We put in a little practice every day. And when we do, we get the rewards. And when we don't, we don't. You can't be mad at somebody else for getting something that you didn't put the work in to get. The man even wrote on Facebook that he wanted to go to sleep and never wake up again. Can you believe that? Nothing is worth dying over. That's what I'm here to tell you today. I've seen people, there was a time in my life when this was worth dying over to me. It was the most important thing in the world. That's not the case. If all this went away tomorrow and I had to have my tongue amputated or whatever, I'd find another way to express myself with exactly the same things that I'm talking about to y'all right now. It's something completely different. I already got things like that, relationships like that with people. I'm grateful for all the hard times. I'm grateful for all the hard work. When I was coming up, they told me, I went into the club I wanted to play. They said, here's a best of Little Walter. Learn this and we'll let you come back and play. I came back. They said, okay, play it. I said, put the tape in and I'll play over the tape. He said, no, play it without the tape. I said, I can't. He said, come back next week. Came back next week. He said, okay, play it. It was juke. I went like this. He went wrong. Come back next week. That went on for 4 or 5 weeks before I kind of learned it. They took pity on me. I didn't even know it. It's supposed to be. Oh, by the way, I like to do it like this. I never heard anyone do that. It's like if Duke Ellington played juke, right? But anyway, they said it was wrong, come back. All of those experiences are what shaped me. Pat Ramsey never gave me a lesson. Never told me nothing, right? But he treated me like his son eventually. Because I paid my dues and I didn't expect nothing out of him except for what he was there to offer, which was amazing music and an amazing friendship, an amazing relationship that I miss every single day. Every day. Not a day goes by, y'all, that I don't want to call Pat. Not one single day. And especially when times get tough, I really want to call him. And he's here. And right now he's here talking to you too. Through me. People do things through us. Sometimes amazing things happen through us. But we have to be willing to suffer. We have to be willing to go through the hard times. If this video is too much of a bummer, come back next Friday. We'll talk about some scale or fucking Little Walter Lick. Love y'all. Have a great Friday. Bye.